operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
We're kicking off 2026 with a party on Friday, January 2nd, featuring Mike Smith and the Bowie Boys, who are turning 93.7 The Ticket into a skate park. You heard that right. Make plans to stop by The Ticket between 5 and 8 p.m. on Friday, January 2nd for a live broadcast of culture and coffee from 5 to 7 p.m. and a vintage market plus skate experience hosted by the Bowie Boys from 7 to 8 p.m. This is a party you do not want to miss. Stop by The Ticket prior to the Nebraska basketball game on Friday, January 2nd from 5 to 8 p.m. Are you tired of living in pain? At Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, they make it simple. From head to toe, spine to extremities, they've got you covered. Their multi-specialty team of experts in orthopedic surgery, plastic surgery, podiatry, physical therapy, and occupational therapy all work under one roof to get you back to living life pain-free. Don't wait another day. Visit prairie-ortho.com today or call them at 402-489-4700. Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, where healing begins.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Coppell Chevrolet GMC, the #1 fastest growing GMC dealer in the Omaha and Lincoln area. We are going to keep this train rolling in a big way with new half-ton and 4x4 pickup trucks starting at $12,500 off list price or 0% financing. You heard that right, $12,500 off list price or 0% financing. You pick which one works better for you. Please stop on in the dealership and meet the team or check us out at coppellcars.com. Stock number C280930. All deals with roof credit.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe. You're listening to Bock and the Blackshirt.
Terrell Farley, defending Terrell Farley,
who last week in his first start was a holy terror, number 43.
And Jake Bockoven. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Powered by Bauer.
Welcome to Bock and the Blackshirt here at 93.7 The Ticket. It's the new year, Bock, January 2nd, 2026. We have so much to talk about with Husker football, the transfer portal, the biggest game in men's basketball tonight here in Lincoln, Nebraska. Bock, I don't know where to start first, but how was your new year?
Yeah, that's a good place to start. 2026. Welcome everybody aboard. Bock and the Blackshirt. We'll be having a very successful year. We at least hope here in going into the year with some successful sports to talk about. The new year was good. Rang it in. Had some fun with that. Nice to kind of get the extended days off. Starting to kind of feel like, I don't think I'm alone in that it doesn't quite feel like Friday, but here we are. So we'll get back on track with all the days here pretty soon. But it does feel good to be here. Like you said, Nebraska basketball with a huge one tonight, first top 15 matchup in Pinnacle Bank Arena history. So it's things are going well as long as you don't ask me about the football program.
Yeah, Bock. I'm not going to say I'm so through with it, but I'm going to try to be more politely informed or how might I say it, inform people of the politeness.
To be more positive?
Positive
Yeah,
of football. We're going to talk a lot of Nebraska football today. We're going to talk so much about it that I'm going to be nice the whole time we talk about
Good
it.
luck.
Bock, when we talk about the New Year's, Bock, last 3 years, I've seen myself wake up on the couch at 3 o'clock. This year, I woke up in the bed at 3 o'clock. I didn't make it to the couch.
Didn't make it.
Laid down around about 9 o'clock. Then I woke up at 3 something. I'm a party pooper, Bock. I just don't.
You just can't do it anymore.
I can't do it anymore. You know, I'm not gonna stay up to bring in a new year when I don't drink anymore. So that's probably one of the reasons. My kids are not here, and I'm just old now. You know,
fireworks didn't wake you up?
What fireworks?
You didn't hear them.
What fireworks?
Yeah.
What fireworks?
Well, that's what I knew the New Year was there. It woke me up. A bunch of fireworks going off. I tried to make it too. I made it till about 11. To my defense, I would I woke up at like 5. I mean, I was pulling the early break shift the other day or on the 31st. And of course, the Nebraska football game there too. Lots of great football to watch. But yeah, I didn't make it all the way. But the fireworks woke me up.
Yeah, Bock, I'm still kind of disappointed in Georgia last night. I'm not disappointed.
What a heck of a game.
I applaud the way they played.
Yeah.
They didn't quit. They didn't give up. Both of those teams are well-coached teams. Both of them played their hearts out. And that's what college football playoffs supposed to look like, Bock. Not some of the games we seen earlier in the week. There's a lot of talk about the bye teams now, Bock. We're going to hear a lot about that. And a lot of teams are going to be saying, hey, we don't want to bye anymore, Bock. We just want to go straight at it. Let's play straight football and don't have a bye. Because I think that some teams get relaxed. You could get rusty, Bock, having 2 weeks off, and it showed against Ohio State, showed against Texas Tech, showed against Georgia. Well, not really, but, you know, it showed against those number one teams that didn't make it.
Well, teams with a bye now, 2 years into the college football playoff bracket, are 1-7. And Indiana's the only one to get over that hump. So, and they did in a massive way by beating Alabama, who arguably shouldn't have even been in there to begin with. But you've got your own arguments there. And so it's just interesting as the college football playoff it has expanded now. And we get all this different data, and everybody's got their opinions on what systems are better at this and that. It just goes to show you're going to have to continue tweaking it. And again, going back to the idea of was the old, I prefer the BCS or at least the very least that idea of pinning the top two teams and protecting the regular season. And then, okay, I can kind of like at least a 4-team playoff. But as with the BCS, as with the 4-team, as with anything, college football's championship has always had to be tweaked, how you're going to do it. So I'm sure they'll continue tweaking it. Of course, they're talking about expansion as well. But it will be interesting to see if they feel like they have to be reactionary to the data they have so far, which is the bye week has been a lot more hurtful than helpful for the teams playing. And this year, of course, remember last year, part of that was, okay, well, that's because Arizona State and Boise State shouldn't be seeded that high. Well, this year you got the top 4 seeds in there, and 3 of them didn't make it.
All right, Bock, let's go to the Las Vegas Bowl. Nebraska versus Utah. Exactly what I thought it was going to be, Bock. Didn't surprise me. Didn't change my mind about anything. Nebraska is exactly who we thought they were. You played the first quarter, great. Best first quarter, Bock, I can say they played this year.
Yeah, close to it, yeah.
Close to it.
Had the lead over a top 15 team.
Yeah, you had the lead. When we go past that point, Bock, like the Bad News Bears, same old thing.
More the same, yeah.
No tackling. Outside of them couple of runs we had, running backs was non-existent. TJ Lateef, not ready. Offensive line played well enough in the first half. Didn't start to collapse a little bit. Defensive line got pushed around like some little kids to go outside for daycare with the bully. I don't want to go outside today, Bock. You know why? That bully's out there. That's what Nebraska said.
Yeah, I mean, this was a tough one. They always have to do it right to you a little bit, right? At least get your hopes up. When they were up 14-7, and you could kind of see, okay, well, Mekhi Nelson had already ran for 80 yards or whatever. And, or I guess it was close to 80 or whatever it was, 70 yards at that point. And you can kind of see they're starting to put Mosey in. They had the short yardage back. So we're talking about all the running backs. It looked like they kind of had a package together. They moved down the field, get that second touchdown, absolute dime from Latif to Barney. I'm just kidding. It was an end around, but for that passing touchdown, either way, again, yeah, I mean, it had me starting to think maybe we were wrong about this. Maybe this is the Phil Snow change and the Matt Rule backwards hat and everything that they've done and moved around is going to lead to a very exciting bowl win and a postseason, or excuse me, an off season where you can kind of start to talk about the positive steps that we're taking there and where Nebraska's leading as a program. But all that, of course, can come crashing down to earth as Nebraska gave up 37 straight points to Utah from that point on. Of course, only had 40 yards in the second and third quarter. Devon Dampierre is going to forever have a great smile on his face whenever you mention Nebraska, because he absolutely balled against the Huskers. And so, yeah, I mean, it ended up being what we kind of expected, what the folks down in Vegas even expected, right? Nebraska, 2-touchdown underdog here and losing by 22 and just have to put it right up there as one of the worst performances, if not the worst of the season. Certainly was defensively after you make the change, right? Coach Butler might have been part of the problem. Didn't appear to be the entire thing because they had a worse defensive performance, I think, here. Remember, you only give up 40 points twice this season, and it was the final two games. So, I mean, a lot of it, with this bull talk and what's going on as far as momentum in the program is halted and falling backwards, which is obviously not where you want to be going into an offseason.
But we talked about a reset earlier. What did we say? That it's a trend in college football. Don't be afraid to start over. Some teams have did it. Some teams have survived. Some teams have made it every year thing to reset their program. I'm not calling for Matt Rule to reset this program, but if you're going to take it and make this a business now, you got to act like it's a business. You got to tell, hey, you got to be for real with players and say, hey, look, I probably need you to jump in the transfer portal because Bock, we can't come back in the same we can't come back with the same roster if you want to get better, especially with this schedule we have next year. Now, what I'm saying, Bock, is that if you're going to approach it like the pros, we're going to need 30 new guys. We're new. We're going to need some offensive linemen. We're going to need some running backs. Probably a running back, but we're going to need a solidified starter, a guy who's proven already in a college football season.
Yeah, I mean, that's where they're at.
These guys played good, but Utah defense wasn't that great, especially their rushing defense. We knew that coming in.
Right.
So we knew we could have success a little bit, but we abandoned that part of it.
Well, and it continues to be a theme too for this staff, and it's kind of frustrating is that, the plays that you have like coming into the game, right? Scripted plays seems to be working pretty well. I mean, they do enough, going into, especially this, sometimes you get a week off, you got to prepare for that, whatever. You got longer going into this bowl game. And so that seems to continue to be part of the story too. It's like, okay, well enough if your first 30 scripted plays or whatever, but these second and third quarter, like when a team adjusts and Nebraska just has nothing to turn to from there, and you go through these quarters of finishing up with 12 yards or, it's just like, how did we get here? I mean, you don't have any sort of oomph. And that's what the overall problem is. What you're talking about too is like Matt Rule might not want to use the term program reset. He doesn't want to talk about rebuilding. Fair. You're in year 4. I get it. But what are you building off of then? Who is this close to being an all-conference player that's returning to Nebraska? Who's the building blocks?
Well, you say you have the youngest team in Big Ten football. They're going to be juniors, Bock. Ja'Cory Barney, junior. Who else? Cam Lenhart, junior. All these guys that was freshmen, they're going to be juniors now. Sophomores, freshmen are going to be sophomores. If you're not winning with these guys, Bock, you're going to have to go somewhere else and win. You got to get some guys in here.
Yeah. Well, and then again, that goes back to how well have they done doing that in the past? Have they been doing very well hitting the transfer portal? How well have they developed guys while they're here? And so again, it's not just the 3 losses. It's just this feel like we've seen 3 years of Matt Rule now. And again, now going kind of big picture, what you have to do in a game where you get blown out. I mean, there's not much to really break down. Nebraska wasn't a play or 2 away from beating Utah. Utah looks like the team Nebraska wants to be at someday. But, you just kind of get back to kind of the big picture discussion. You've seen 3 years of Matt Rule. Let me ask you, what is Matt Rule? Somebody from the outside comes in. What does Matt Rule do well? What is done well in a Matt Rule program?
Matt Rule is an average coach. Can't win the big ones. He's Mike Riley 2.0, 19-19. I mean, you can't label a guy God who hasn't did anything, who hasn't won a top 25 game. You can't label him God. You can't. I mean, he has to do more. He has to understand the Big Ten football. You got to understand how to make these coaches get these players to a different level. You got to get the coaches to a different level. We got an offensive coordinator who's supposed to score 40, 50 points a game. We can't even score 13, 14 points the last 3 games.
Yeah.
You scored 22 points. You scored 14 points, Bock, and then got outscored 37 points.
37 straight.
37 straight, Bock.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I mean, he's a talker. I don't want a talker. I don't want a talker. I want a coach. I want a Kurt Signetti. I want a Dan Landon. I want a Kirby Smart. I want somebody who's going to get out here and make these players believe in how to win a football game. Just don't talk about it. Care about the dancing anymore. They're going to dance. They're going to dance, but we can't stop it.
We can't stop them from dancing.
It's boogie woogie. This is what they do. Every team does it. But, like I said, maybe everybody on this team, roster, coaches, personnel, need to look themselves in the face and talk within yourself and see what you got to do to get better. How can I make this program better? Go out and spend money. You talk about it so much, go spend it. Don't get me a no-name quarterback that I don't know. Don't go get me a no-name running back I don't know. And don't go get some no-name coaches that I don't know. If you want to be the best, you're going to have to go get the best.
Yeah, and it does. It seems like a big offseason of kind of rebuilding this thing again, regardless of how Matt Rule wants to put it. We did see today, by the way, some transfer portal entries from Jalen George and Jason Masashak. Obviously, not going to be not the biggest departures, but those are the ones. Dylan. Some of those other guys officially entered the transfer portal today, but there's not this huge 30 guys leaving the net. I think that's
Jalen George.
Good to see.
Tennessee Tech, wasn't it?
Yeah, FCS level. Yeah.
You went and got him last year. Thought maybe he was going to help this team out. Lord knows I don't know how much you paid him. The good thing they don't print it. But guy played 14 snaps in the Big Ten, Bock. 59 overall. I need guys who are going to come in the transfer portal, Bock, and play right away. Who wants to get down and dirty for their money. Because if you ask me, Bock, we just paid some guys to be here. Like always.
Yeah. There's definitely guys on the unfortunately, again, though, it's been kind of that way on the coaching staff as well as the players. And so again, that's why
Did it look better? Did we see that Phil Snow defense that Phil Snow was talking about?
No. I mean,
I'd rather have Butler the way that went
right,
Friday.
Throw Butler under the bus, and then you have the worst performance.
Worse than any other. That was the worst I've seen a defensive play.
Yeah.
This year, our defense.
It is. It's the highest they've given up all over their averages and total points per game, total yards, rushing yards, passing yards, every one of them. So, I mean, again, it is. It's unfortunately kind of a look in the mirror. Now, again, part of that, you're facing Utah. What if that was a fully loaded Utah team, by the way?
Yeah, you're talking about a team didn't have 2 defensive ends, didn't have 2 offensive tackles, didn't have a coach. If they would have had everybody, they'd have beat us 80-something to 13, Bock.
Could be. I was really impressed, and I bet you were as well with Dampier. You do wonder, like a playmaking quarterback like that, how much could that have helped Nebraska? People try to break down TJ Lateef here. This is what I kind of want to get your thoughts on, Terrell, as we kind of move in certainly some talk about a quarterback in the transfer portal here throughout the show. Lateef's performance. I mean, he finishes the year 904 passing yards, 5 touchdowns, 1 pick, but did not necessarily play particularly well against Penn State, Iowa, or Utah. You've got the out of Iowa. At least he was in, the injury there. Comes back, performs against Utah. Garbage time touchdown there at the end, but at least it counts in the stat column. Is he at a place where you think he could be or should be the starting quarterback for Nebraska next year?
TJ Lateef.
TJ Lateef.
Not next year. Probably a year after that.
Mm-hmm.
Takes probably 2 years to get a good grip of college football for a quarterback. TJ was thrown in the fire. Didn't have a chance to really take his red shirt. I mean, he learned on the fly. I mean, kind of hurt him.
Yeah.
Certain things he does good, but we found out that every team is not a UCLA. And when we played those teams of Iowa, Penn State, and now Utah, I mean, he was 15 to 28 for 182 yards, 1 touchdown, sack 3 times. But at the same time, he's a freshman. He's going to make mistakes. I've never seen a freshman quarterback, a true freshman quarterback that's been an A+. Now, if I have to give TJ Lateef for the games he played in this year, he's a C-. But he's a freshman, though. I mean, I can live with that part of it. But unless he takes a miracle turnaround this offseason, he might, but we need 2 quarterbacks in this transfer portal period. You need one that's going to be a great pusher or – on the same level as TJ Lateef, and you're going to need a backup. Now, we're hearing a lot of words, but I'm going to stay on TJ Lateef. Yeah. I mean, he's a freshman, Bock. He plays like it.
Yeah.
You can't ask a freshman to play like a senior if they're not ready like a senior.
And that's why I would put it, too, is, it's not necessarily by any fault of his own, was kind of thrown into the action there. But it is an interesting talking point because I see some people say, well, he wasn't given enough of an opportunity. Well, starting 4 games and playing in 5, meaningful minutes, having a chance to start off by knocking off a top 25 USC team, it's more of a chance than anybody else got, right? as far as showing that. I think he looked about what you expected him to look against Utah. And so you're always going to have kind of that talk about him being a freshman and being thrown in there. At the same time, there are freshmen that takes enough steps forward that you say, whoa, this guy is the future. This is definitely the path that Nebraska needs to take. And I don't think he necessarily did that. And so that's why I'm kind of interested to see what they do in the transfer portal, and we'll see. Is that I just don't, if the plan moving forward is TJ Lateef, and it's year 4, and you've got all these other moving parts, and you want to claim it's not building, rebuilding, whatever you want to call it, it's a hard sell if he's starting at quarterback for Nebraska to not tell me that it's rebuilding, because he has a ways to grow. And to your point, maybe he would be better off redshirting. It's tough to tell a kid now that's seen some action and had some success against UCLA.
I understand. Get a senior quarterback.
That's what I would. Yeah, that's
let him come in. Let him redshirt. Yeah, TJ has to redshirt. I mean, he has to get a whole year of not playing the games under his belt to be ready. I mean, even most of the quarterbacks redshirt, Bob. You don't have true freshmen coming in. Everybody can't be a Tommy Frazier. Everybody can't be a Tim Tebow. Everybody, you can't be that. Yeah. It's just impossible, especially at this year and date how kids are. I mean, these kids, and I like this right here. I mean, Kevin in Southwest Lincoln. He says the football program continues to bring down an overall successful athletic department. So much for new facilities helping to fix the team's continuous problems. Nobody cares about a facility, Bock. Care about W's and dollar signs. That's what football is now. W's, dollar signs.
Yeah.
Repeat after me. W's, dollar signs. That's it. I don't care if you got a barber shop in the academic center. I don't care if you got a ping pong table in the locker room. Dollars and W's. That's what wins here in college football. 93.7 the ticket. Bock in the Blackshirt. We'll be right back.
Planet Fitness has everything you need to start strong, so you can give everything you've got. From plate-loaded strength equipment and functional training areas to treadmills, stair climbers, and free weights. Our equipment is best in class, and our clubs are right around the corner, so you can make this your strongest year yet. Join the club today and save $28 or more when you join for $1 down, $15 a month. Cancel anytime. Deal ends Friday, January 9th. Are you coming? Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet. See club for details.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Coppell Chevrolet GMC, the #1 fastest growing GMC dealer in the Omaha and Lincoln area. We are going to keep this train rolling in a big way with new half-ton and 4x4 pickup trucks starting at $12,500 off list price or 0% financing. You heard that right, $12,500 off list price or 0% financing. You pick which one works better for you. Please stop on in the dealership and meet the team or check us out at koppelcars.com. Stock number C280930. All deals with approved credit.
For Sean Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
We're kicking off 2026 with a party on Friday, January 2nd, featuring Mike Smith and the Bowie Boys, who are turning 93.7 the ticket into a skate park. You heard that right. Make plans to stop by the ticket between 5 and 8 p.m. on Friday, January 2nd for a live broadcast of Culture and Coffee from 5 to 7 p.m. and a vintage market plus skate experience hosted by the Bowie Boys from 7 to 8 p.m. This is a party you do not want to miss. Stop by the ticket prior to the Nebraska basketball game on Friday, January 2nd from 5 to 8 p.m. Are you tired of living in pain? At Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, they make it simple. From head to toe, spine to extremities, they've got you covered. Their multi-specialty team of experts in orthopedic surgery, plastic surgery, podiatry, physical therapy, and occupational therapy all work under one roof to get you back to living life pain-free. Don't wait another day. Visit prairie-ortho.com today or call them at 402-489-4700. Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, where healing begins.
Don't be fooled by the typical holiday ads this year. A new car for your significant other is a dream, but not a likely reality. Why not upgrade the current car you have with a detail? This year's hot item is a gift certificate from Nebraska Auto Detail to make your car look and smell fully refreshed again. We all have clutter and we all make messes, but it doesn't have to stay like that. Give the gift of a clean car this holiday. Buy your certificate at nebraskaautodetail.com or call 402-601-5086 for an appointment today.
Are you tired of living in pain? At Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, they make it simple. From head to toe, spine to extremities, they've got you covered. Their multi-specialty team of experts in orthopedic surgery, plastic surgery, podiatry, physical therapy, and occupational therapy all work under one roof to get you back to living life pain-free. Don't wait another day. Visit prairie-ortho.com today or call them at 402-489-4700. Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, where healing begins.
When it comes to concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction doesn't stall. They go for the takedown. As Nebraska's full-service concrete contractor, they stay in bounds, hold inside position, and never forfeit quality. Whether it's foundations, flatwork, or concrete coatings, they elevate performance and pin down results that win every time. Stevens & Smith Construction is a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket. Because when it's time to wrestle with concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction slams expectations.
If you or anyone you care about is facing a family legal matter, call Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL or visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on. Visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
If you or anyone you care about is facing divorce, contact Cordell & Cordell today. With over 100,000 clients served, we understand the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Call Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. 1221 N Street, Lincoln.
When it comes to keeping your equipment running, you've got options at Landmark Implement. Whether you need premium John Deere parts or a more economical solution, A&I parts from Landmark deliver the dependable performance you can count on with cost savings up to 40%. From filters and bearings to belts and everyday repairs, A&I parts are built to work as hard as you do while helping stretch your budget further. Stop by your local Landmark Implement parts counter today or shop online anytime at shop.deere.com and experience the Landmark difference.
Winter is just around the corner. Is your vehicle ready? Don't get left out in the cold. At A1 Automotive, we prep your car for whatever winter throws your way here in Nebraska. For battery checks, brake inspections, tires, heaters, whatever your car needs to keep you and your family safe on the road, we've got you covered. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
You're listening to Bock and the Blackshirt, on air and online at theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to Bock and the Blackshirt here on 93.7 The Ticket. We are powered
by
Bauer.
Infrastructure.
Bauer.
Underground.
Brad.
Excavating.
All right. Make sure you stop by The Ticket tonight between 5 and 8 p.m. for the Culture and Coffee with Mike Smith and the Bay. The Bowie Boys will be on location, turning our station into a modified skate park for the night. Yes, you heard that right. Come see our station turned into a skate park. Also shop for some vintage items from the boutique stand on the premises during the time slot. It's first Friday every month with Mike Smith for the Culture and Coffee. A great way to start your evening before the Nebraska-Michigan State game. 5 to 8 p.m. tonight, 1040 O Street.
When's the last time you found yourself on a skateboard there, Terrell?
1985.
Wasn't that long ago now?
Fell and bust my butt, never hopped on one again.
Oh, okay, yeah. Wasn't your thing, yeah.
Yeah, that's not me.
Fair enough.
That's not me. Bock, when we talk about how to move forward now, how do we move forward?
Like you said, there's a lot of work to be done in the transfer portal. That's the start of it. But I think, I'm excited, at least for the Jeep Wade hire, mobile quarterback, those sort of ideas that they're kind of bringing in. I do think that this is more of a reset than Matt Rule wants to admit. And when you do those sort of things, you have to build toward it, right? I want to look, and I don't know if they're going to go this way. A lot of people don't necessarily like it. But I want to look like Minnesota, Illinois, and Iowa with a higher ceiling. I think Nebraska can get better talent to Nebraska at some point, but you got to start with that base. And we saw all three of those programs do well, kind of playing some Midwestern tough, like Utah plays, smash mouth football.
Iowa football.
Right, yeah.
Iowa football. I hate to say it. Nebraska needs to be more like Iowa football.
Exactly.
Did anybody expect Iowa to go down there and do things that they did to Vanderbilt?
No. Thank God for the Big Ten they did.
Did anybody think Illinois to go and do the things they did?
Not necessarily.
Okay. That's the point.
Yeah.
Nebraska needs to separate themselves from the other. You're not going to be the top three big dogs in the Big Ten. At least try to take that fourth slot. At least try to be in that position to jump over to other schools, like you said. the Illinois, the Michigans, the USCs.
Yeah. Well, and to it, when I say that and I use those programs as examples, those are Midwestern football teams that we've played. So that's kind of the example. But there's this long idea, and of course, Nebraska got away from it where, speed and the spread option there in the early, mid 2000s and all that sort of stuff is the way to go. And that if you're kind of playing slow Midwestern football, then you're in the past. But what's happened over the last several years? We've seen teams like Michigan, Notre Dame, even Georgia run more of a power-based model. And people even thought it was kind of extinct once Nick Saban went away with it with the hiring of Lane Kiffin, right? They won some titles there in the late 2000s with it. But football kind of can go in circles. At times, it's going to be tough, and then the defenses are going to adjust and all that sort of stuff. But I just feel like for Nebraska as a program, is if they're going to try to outrun or, run similar offenses that you're going to see at USC and Ohio State and that sort of stuff, good luck, because you're not going to get that level of player on campus more often than not than those guys can, or in the Sunshine State, all that sort of stuff. But if you at least start with the toughness and the smash mouth mentality, that can't be taken out of you. And we talk about it too. You can't teach speed, but you can certainly work on power, Husker power. It's called Husker power, not Husker speed, for a reason. Now we saw at some point, Terrell, you're a great example of a guy to be in the room. Nebraska had Husker power for years and years under Tom Osborne. They needed to add that speed. But since they've got away from that formula, and I think that's the formula to build off of, is start with the toughness, start with the Husker
size
power.
up front.
Big, no more. The line play was the biggest problem here. That can't happen anymore. Okay, so you start there, and then you integrate the Trey Palmers, the big time speed, the different guys, the Terrell Farleys that from back in the day, Tommy Frazier's, those type of guys. But you've got to start with the base being, hey, you can't push us over because we won't let you.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know, how do you do that in one offseason? That's kind of tough. But I like the hiring of Jeep Wade. We'll see what they do on the defensive line. But that's at least the start. And I hope they realize that's what's going to need to be done in the Big Ten. You can, kind of poo-poo and push to the side the Big Ten West all you want. And that's part of it too with Matt Rule, is you got to watch what you're saying, because those things can be used against you. I remember he said at one point, this isn't the Big Ten West anymore. The Big Ten West kicked Nebraska's butt once again this year. And then he also was talking about how, it's a difference between Big 12 and Big 10 scholarships. Well, we saw a Big 12 team kick Nebraska's butt this year too. So I would say, and I'll give credit to you for this, Terrell, because you said before, you don't like Matt Rule getting on his high horse and talking about the Big Ten, speaking on behalf of the Big Ten. And for the longest time, I'm like, yeah, but I guess I kind of like the way that I get it now, because now sound bites like that can be used when he's talking about how the difference between the Big 12 and Big 10, and you get your butt absolutely kicked by a Big 12 team. Well, that doesn't look too good going back to those comments. So I'd speak less. I think he's a great orator. I think he's a great speaker. We all know that. I kind of like him using that strength throughout his time. But at some point, you've got to turn the page to results. Okay, this is moving in the right direction. And it's hard to argue that it moved much of it in any direction when you have the very same record as last year, which, again, back-to-back bowl performance, there's something to be said about that. But the way this season ended, Nebraska came into this year talking about competing for a playoff spot. They look nowhere near ready to play a playoff team.
Playoffs?
Playoffs?
Yeah. No, I'm not even talking that part. But when I watched Georgia play last night, and I said it over and over and over, look at the push on that line. Look at that running back hits the hole. He was getting 7 yards a pop, Bock, and guess what the offensive line was doing? I seen a guy get pushed all the way to the end zone, Bock, on one play. I said, damn it, that's what Nebraska needs. Nebraska needs to be more physical than what we are. I don't know what we're doing in the weight room. I'm not saying it's the weight problem or these guys are just not physical, but it's something about we're not doing right. Techniques, coaching-wise, player-wise.
Development. Talent identification. I don't want to pick on the guy, but Turner Corcoran's been starting here. It feels like for 7 years or something. Him in the Bryce Benhart era, was definitely a deal, and it ends like you would expect it to, like it has. He you know, and again, not picking on him specifically, but he gave up 3 sacks, and it's like, how are these still the best tackles Nebraska has to put out on the field? You know, that's a guy I felt for a long time should have been, would have been behooved to move to guard, but they don't have any tackles. So, I mean, you've got to bring in somebody that can play. And we talked about this Tyler Knock too. And again, nothing against these guys I'm specifically mentioning, but if a guy without use of his hand is better than the guys behind him, that's the problem with Nebraska football kind of coming out of this game too, and in these last 3 games, and you can make you point at me, call me the bad guy, say people want to win off of negativity. You got your butt kicked 3 straight games. There's nothing. What do you want me to argue? What do you want me to talk about? The program is not headed in the right direction. It needs a reset. It needs to flip, and it needs to improve in all these different areas. There's not an area on the team that I go back to and say that's the strength. Maybe it could have been passing defense, but you fired the guy that got you in that position. So what's the strength of Nebraska heading into next season?
No strength.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you. Special teams?
Well, we're going to say offensive line. They coming back. I don't know.
Nothing much there.
This is a team of many. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. The secondary, I don't know. The linebackers, I don't know. The defensive line, hell no. Offensive line, I don't know. Running backs, I don't know. Bunch of I don't knows, Bock.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to say. Where's our identity? I don't know.
I have no clue.
What are the Monty G in Kansas said, rank your top 3 positions we need in the portal. Every position. A retoot. What you call it, Bob? A what?
Reset.
Reset.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I lose at Call of Duty, what I do? I reset. If I'm getting killed every time, Bock, I reset. I'm not afraid to start over.
Yeah.
People wait till they 50 years old sometimes to start their life over. Hey, I've been an alcoholic for 50 years. I'm finna reset my life. I got to start over.
Doesn't have to be a bad thing.
No.
But it's got to be, if it's reality, you better face it.
Matt Rose, if you listening, sometimes it's good to start over. 93.7 The Ticket. Bock in the Black Shirt. We'll be right back.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. It doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Concrete Industries has immediate job openings for precast production laborers and maintenance technicians. Concrete Industries offers great pay, health benefits, 401k, a wellness program, holidays, and paid time off. Apply today to earn a starting pay of $21.50 per hour plus a $1,500 hiring bonus. Concrete Industries is hiring all experience levels and offers on-the-job training. Start your career today as a precast production laborer or maintenance technician. Visit concreteindustries.com.
Are you tired of living in pain? At Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, they make it simple. From head to toe, spine to extremities, they've got you covered. Their multi-specialty team of experts in orthopedic surgery, plastic surgery, podiatry, physical therapy, and occupational therapy all work under one roof to get you back to living life pain-free. Don't wait another day. Visit prairie-ortho.com today or call them at 402-489-4700. Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery. where healing begins.
If you or anyone you care about is facing a family legal matter, call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL or visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on. Visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
If you or anyone you care about is facing divorce, contact Cordell and Cordell today. With over 100,000 clients served, we understand the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. 1221 N Street, Lincoln.
Winter is just around the corner. Is your vehicle ready? Don't get left out in the cold. At A1 Automotive, we prep your car for whatever winter throws your way here in Nebraska. For battery checks, for brake inspections, tires, heaters, whatever your car needs to keep you and your family safe on the road, we've got you covered. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
You're looking for a forecast for today. A chance of wintry mix with patchy fog. Otherwise cloudy skies, a high near 33. Tonight a chance of snow. Otherwise cloudy skies, a low around 24. And tomorrow we'll see mostly sunny skies and light winds. An afternoon high near 44. I'm meteorologist Kyle Piker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs, from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197. We're kicking off 2026 with a party on Friday, January 2nd, featuring Mike Smith and the Bowie Boys, who are turning 93.7 The Ticket into a skate park. You heard that right. Make plans to stop by The Ticket between 5 and 8 p.m. on Friday, January 2nd for a live broadcast of Culture and Coffee from 5 to 7 p.m. and a vintage market plus skate experience hosted by the Bowie Boys from 7 to 8 p.m. This is a party you do not want to miss. Stop by The Ticket prior to the Nebraska basketball game on Friday, January 2nd from 5 to 8 p.m.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
You're listening to Bock and the Blackshirt, on air and online at theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to Bock and the Blackshirt here on 93.7 The Ticket. We are on from Monday through Friday from 1 to 3. Bock, who's in charge of recruiting?
Well, I mean, they've got a recruiting coordinator, general manager.
No. Go back again.
General manager.
Who's the general manager?
Pat Stewart.
Pat Stewart. It's Pat Stewart's job to get players in here. Was it Pat Stewart that went and got a D lineman from Tennessee Tech that was 6'3", 255 pounds? Did you ever think that would work?
It didn't, no.
Pat Stewart went and got Marquise Trent, who was great at Georgia Southern. How did his year end at Nebraska?
Didn't live up to expectations.
Kind of small when I met him, I told him.
Yeah.
Probably was 5'10", 5'9", 200 pounds. Don't work in the Big Ten. What have we got out of the portal Bock in the last 2 years that is worth talking about? Who? What players have Rocco Spindler?
Yeah.
Elijah Pritchard.
Yeah.
Elijah Pritchard is better than what we thought he was, Bock. We was on this man all year. Couldn't jump out. Hey, kept jumping off sides.
Yeah, he's by his own doing. He was off from the start. Definitely ended out better.
Think he's the best offensive lineman we have right now?
Could be. I would think so.
Him and Justin Evans, I think, played the best out of any two linemen in the bowl game.
Yeah.
Add to it. Add to what William Nwili is. Big kid. Grant Wistrom type of body. 6'3", 6'4", 265 pounds. Can hold his arm. Put some big guys beside him. Somebody on the text line said that Ed Stewart was 205 pound All-American linebacker. That's a lie. Ed Stewart was 220. When he started playing linebacker, he was 205. Bock, I played for Charlie McBride. Charlie McBride told me you can have all the talent in the world, but if you can't get in there and blow somebody up, you will never play here. Guess what I had to do, Bock? I had to show Charlie McBride less than a week how to run in there and put my head down, how to run in there and be physical, how to run in there and use my hands. Haven't seen a linebacker this year use their hands, Bock.
Vincent Shavers hardly had two hands to use.
Played with a club on his hand all year.
Yeah.
Take a red shirt. Vincent Shavers need a red shirt also. He could have benefited from one this year.
And again, I mean, I think there are positive stories throughout the season for Nebraska. There are different guys that, maybe have developed it, in their own right and got to see the playing field. But again, as I kind of see some of the talk on the text line, it's like, well, it's not the transfer portal. At least we got players from there. It's developing the high school recruits, and it's just kind of been a blend of both, right? Nebraska, and you're going to have to blend of both. You're never going to hit 100% on either one. But either way, you got to get to a point. I mean, Andrew Marshall would be a good name to point out and say, okay, that was a good pick from the transfer portal. Isaiah Hunter obviously led your team in. Would have been nice to have him in the bowl game, but led your team in receiving this year. So, I mean, there are good stories, but there's just not enough of them, right? And you need to hit at a higher percentage if you're building Nebraska going into the future. And really, you've got to move that aim up as well, because I do think like Owenieri's a good story. I do think Marshall's a good story, but you need good stories are one thing. You need all Big Ten guys if you're going to compete. The playoffs, you're going to compete in the Big Ten against 3 playoff teams next year. You need a few guys and that's, again, to where Nebraska is not. And it's maybe the easiest thing to say and point out to, but it's been this way for a long time. And you did have Emmett Johnson rise above, become that guy. But that's the good story you're looking for is not, hey, this is pretty good guy for his own right. It's no, this guy's a mismatch. This is a disadvantage for the defensive coordinator or whatever side of the ball, right? The opposing defensive coordinator, opposing offensive coordinator, they're gonna have to look out for him. They're gonna have to you gotta make changes to your game plan based on this guys. Nebraska doesn't have a whole lot of those guys. Didn't have, I don't think any of them necessarily going into the bowl game, and doesn't have necessarily any of them going into next year. Emmett Johnson was that guy. They don't have that anymore.
Nebraska is not they don't know how to adapt after the second half, make changes.
Oh, yeah.
You need to learn how to. First of all, we need coaches that can make in-game changes.
Mm-hmm.
After 15 plays of Hogerson run, he's lost then. He's not the same as what we seen when he was at Houston, when he was at West Virginia. That's not the same playbook, Bock.
Well, and that's too. I mean, I think as much as, he is a well-respected, head coach in his own right, offensive mind at one point in time, he hasn't lived up to the expectation, just quite frankly, here at Nebraska.
He isn't that guy he used to be.
Doesn't necessarily appear to be, at least with what Nebraska has in front of him. And of course, it was all okay trying to run Coach Satt's offense and barely adjusting and keeping the terminology and all that stuff. This is again, here we are again, maybe a chance to reset and give more to the hands of Dana Holgorsen. But again, at that point, as people might, you see off YouTube here, Game Dogs say the game has passed him by. I mean, it could be the case, at least as far as being a top end offensive mind in football. But one way or the other, I mean, we can't ignore the fact. I mean, again, John Butler falls on the sword. He's the one that didn't work out. They fired him. The offense didn't do a whole lot better than the defense. In fact, most spots statistically, it did worse. Yet Emmett Johnson imagine if Emmett Johnson wasn't on this team. Where would this offense be?
We wouldn't even be talking right now. We wouldn't even talk about bowl game.
Yeah, I don't think so. So, I mean, it's the blame needs to be looked at and felt and taken in and understood. And there needs to be a lot of improvement everywhere. Not, okay, well, this guy's a made man, or, this is the new guy, the new hero, all that stuff. This staff needs to get together. I mean, just because it's not the latest problem doesn't mean it's a problem that hasn't been had. The staff needs to get along, get together, work in a similar direction, work toward the same goals here. And I don't know if they've been on the same page. I said this a while back when they fired John Butler. I don't know when the last time a Nebraska staff's been on the same page. It's been a long time.
You're right about that, Bock. I think it starts at the top. I think Matt Rule needs to look himself in the eye. He needs to look himself in the mirror. What can I do to make my coaching staff better? Give me 20 Ecklers. Give me 20 Ecklers. I'll take 20 Ecklers as coaches. May not happen, but hey, at least it's worth a try. 93.7 The Ticket. We'll be right back.
When it comes to keeping your equipment running, you've got options at Landmark Implement. Whether you need premium John Deere parts or a more economical solution, A&I Parts from Landmark deliver the dependable performance you can count on with cost savings up to 40%. From filters and bearings to belts and everyday repairs, A&I Parts are built to work as hard as you do while helping stretch your budget further. Stop by your local Landmark Implement parts counter today or shop online anytime at shop.deere.com and experience the Landmark difference.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs, from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service, bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, a chance of wintry mix with patchy fog, otherwise cloudy skies, a high near 33. Tonight, a chance of snow, otherwise cloudy skies, a low around 24. And tomorrow, we'll see mostly sunny skies and light winds, an afternoon high near 44. I'm meteorologist Kyle Tucker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
For remote starters, audio upgrades, and more, there's only one place to go. Auto Sounds of Lincoln at 48th and O.
Winter is just around the corner. Is your vehicle ready? Don't get left out in the cold. At A1 Automotive, we prep your car for whatever winter throws your way here in Nebraska. For battery checks, brake inspections, tires, heaters, whatever your car needs to keep you and your family safe on the road, we've got you covered. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road, just south of 14th and Highway 2.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. You're listening to Bock in the Blackshirt.
Terrell Farley. Defending Terrell Farley, who last week in his first start was a holy terror. Number 43.
And Jake Bockoven. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Powered by Bauer.
Welcome to Bock in the Blackshirt here on 93.7 The Ticket. Bock, there's one thing I used to observe. Every spring practice, Nebraska back in the 90s used to have, other teams would come watch, not other teams, but their other coaches from other programs would come watch what was so special about Tom Osborne program.
Sure.
Maybe Matt Ruse needs to take him a worldwide tour around some of the top programs in college football to see what we're not doing right. Go watch Georgia. Go watch Indiana. Go watch Miami. Go watch Ole Miss. If you're not practicing and doing the things that they're doing, Bob, we're not doing it right.
Yeah, that could definitely be an idea. I'm interested to see kind of how that all plays out. Of course, we got plenty of college football to talk to. Of course, we're kind of focusing on Nebraska there, and fair enough, because obviously the season comes to a conclusion. We've got our takes on it. But, yeah, I mean, I think that's, you know, you copy success. I mean, that's the sport of football. We say that in the NFL. You know, you say that in anything. I mean, you look at the teams that are doing well and what are they doing differently. I don't know if there's any magic drills to be run or something like that, but maybe you can see it. Is there more resources going to developing the bottom end of the roster? You know, kind of what. So I think there's certain things that could be pulled from that, but you know, I also think there's just. As we've kind of said going along as well, good players, great players can make coaches look a lot smarter than they necessarily are. And so, you know, regardless how you practice, and part of that is, you know, a team like Georgia that has all those type of athletes, you know, the practice might look a little bit different, a little more, you know, furious. But what you showed me the other day, especially the Oregon practice, Dan Lanning gets them going physically early.
Physical.
Yeah.
Physical. Hitting all the time, not just at the beginning, just at all the time. Maybe we got just too much love on our team. Sometimes the love needs to be what we call it when we punish our child, Bock.
Tough love?
Some tough love.
There you go.
We need tough love.
Yeah.
If I don't see my coach spitting fire out his mouth, I don't want to play for that coach probably. You know, if you're going to be soft on the kids, maybe you're in the wrong profession because I know I've got chewed out plenty of times when I played. I wasn't perfect. But when you ask me to do it the right way, then I come back and I do it the right way. I don't need you to praise me. Just keep playing me. And that's what we do too much. We praise these players too much. Praise, oh, I love them. Love me 30 years from now. Don't love me on the field. I love me 30 years from now. That's what Charlie McBride told me. Hey, I love you. I said, I can accept that now, coach, because it's 30 years ago.
Yeah.
I couldn't accept that when we was playing. I don't know, Bob. What else? What you got, Bob? Well, let's talk about some games. Let's talk about the pick'ems because I know.
Do we have to?
Yeah, we have to. We have to. I'm sorry.
So it was a good week for you.
You're not gonna play the music. You play the music.
You gonna play some music?
Yeah, play the music like you usually talk about it, Bob.
Hold on a second.
Yeah, now you're trying to play with my emotions, Bob. See, look what happened when you get eliminated. Oh,
I
sorry.
got eliminated. I'm gonna just
you got the E by your name on it. Bock is eliminated.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh my Bock. I'm sorry.
Yeah, unfortunately, our pick'ems that we do throughout the year. There are 3 games left as we've got the there's some games today.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that here in a second. But as far as the playoff goes, obviously just 3 games left. I am, as of right now, after I think 5-3 is the last week that we did here, have fallen out of the race. 115-78, my record is. Terrell, you're 122-71. I do not have enough games to get back to the top, so I am eliminated. So it's going to come down to you and the text line. The text line fell a little bit short, and this they came into the week all tied with you. This was going to be the turning point, and you did better than the text line. And so right now you are 2 games above the text line, 122-71. The text line 120-73 with about 3 games to go. Again, there are, I think, 4 bowl games today. Unfortunately for the text line, you and the text line both picked those games the same. Myself and Kenny have a little bit to maybe make up as far as the final numbers there. But you're going to have to screw this up, Terrell, to lose it because these last 3 games, they're not eliminated. Text line has a chance, but they're going to have to make a little bit of a comeback and hope you go 0-3. If it comes down to a tie, by the way, I might have to do some point differential or go to the Super Bowl or something. I'm not sure.
Whoop, whoop. That's how you do it, Bob. That's how you do it. When I tell you I know how to pick games, Bob, I know how to pick games.
Yeah, it's not there yet. You're not the champion yet, but you're all but. You're
I'm
knocking
close.
on the door. Yeah?
I'm close.
Yeah.
So we got 3 games? How many games a day?
So let me look. We got Texas State, which is my mic's giving me problems. Texas State is playing right now in their bowl game against Rice. We all picked Texas State. They're up 17-7 in that game. Third quarter just beginning there. We've got Navy taking on Cincinnati here at about 3:30 is when that will kick off. But both you and the text line went with Navy there. So did myself and Kenny. We've got SMU and Arizona playing this evening. Both you and the text line picked SMU. Both myself and Kenny picked Arizona. And then Wake Forest and Mississippi State. Similar story there this evening as well. But you and the text line both went with the Bulldogs there, while myself and Kenny went with Wake Forest. Now, I should mention this on Kenny's behalf. He is leading the win percentage.
I don't care about that.
He is leading win percentage.
You would never, ever win a pick'ems off winning percentage. If you don't play the whole game, that's no, Bob.
Yeah, no.
I don't care about that.
It should be noted. It just should be noted.
No, I'm
For
not.
all he
Hey,
can
look,
do.
I am an outright champion. You would never take me as a as a split champion. This is not a split
I want there to be an
championship right
asterisk
here.
next to your name
No.
this year.
No. You can't hop. Did Michigan hop in the season halfway in '97 and say, "Hey, we played 5 games. We deserve to be national champions"? That's not how they go, Bob.
No, but in Kenny's defense, for all that he could
I
do,
don't
by
care.
the time he got into
Bock.
since then he's picked the most games.
Bock. So you telling me right now, if Kenny would have beginning of that, I don't even think Kenny be winning if he even started at the beginning.
He might not be, but
I don't think he would
he's
be.
right there.
Yeah. So what you're telling me is next week I can clinch this thing next week.
Yeah,
I can
much.
clinch it before I even go out of town.
Yeah. I think what would you need? 2 more wins to completely get it done. But yeah,
2 more victories.
Yeah, before the championship game.
Told you suckers to stop trying to bet, trying to beat me out.
And I just like Ohio State, the defending champion. You have to go down at some point. You know what? I made it to this point in the season. Not happy, just like Ohio State Buckeyes fans are not happy. Didn't defend the title, didn't get the job done, but at least I have some banners hanging up there somewhere.
Yeah, they're a little dusty, but hey, you got.
I gotta go blow them off a little bit.
All right, Bock. What you got, Bock?
Well, I just think we should talk about the all but expected to be Nebraska quarterback Kenny Minchey at this point. The Huskers are heavily linked to Notre Dame quarterback transfer Kenny Minchey, who entered the transfer portal with a do not contact tag, which is interesting. Sam Levitt also has the do not contact tag. Basically means, hey, you know what? I already know where I'm going, right? So that figures to be where he's going to land. We've got some crystal balls coming in, those in the know in the recruiting industry, predicting him to be going to Nebraska with that do not contact tag. You say, well, who is Kenny Minchey? Minchey competed this past offseason with C.J. Carr over there at Notre Dame. Of course, Notre Dame under C.J. Carr did pretty darn well. We're knocking on the doors of the college football playoff. Of course, lost their first 2 games, won their 10 games after that, and then threw their fit and then go to the bowl game. So that's why they finished 10-2. In any case, Minchey does have a connection, was recruited in the past by Dana Holgorsen when he was head coach at Houston. Minchey will have 2 years of eligibility remaining, so will enter Nebraska or wherever he lands as a junior. 6'2", 204 pounds, where he's listed with the Irish this past year. 20 of 26 for 148 yards, as well as 7 carries for 84 yards and a touchdown, and basically garbage time minutes for him at Notre Dame. So kind of interesting. And as far as the Notre Dame quarterback battle went down, apparently between Minchey and Carr, it was neck and neck. It was close, but they went with Carr. And of course, Carr solidified that and showed that was the right decision with going 10-2. But interesting name, definitely an interesting name. We've heard, the Aiden Childs of the world thrown out there. This would be a guy with not a whole lot of experience. In my mind, this would be a guy that you're bringing in to compete with TJ Lateef, with neither necessarily having much of a lead in that quarterback battle. So that could be and again, it's not official, but if the tea leaves are read correctly, Kenny Minchey could be battling TJ Lateef here for the starting job next year. Remember, that would only be their second scholarship quarterback, right? So might be some more work to be done there. What are your thoughts on potentially bringing in Notre Dame quarterback Kenny Minchey to battle TJ Lateef here, Terrell?
It's like me playing Madden on easy level.
Mm.
Who is Kenny Minchey, Bob?
I tried my best to describe him to you.
So we're going to go in the portal for a starting quarterback for a guy who's never started. Make that make sense to me, Bob. I think when you try to upgrade at a position, you have to go get who's the best out there. I'm not going to sit here and say that I don't even know who Kenny Minchey is. I mean, he's went to Notre Dame. I know that part. But as far as stat wise,
yeah, I mean, it's hard to break down too much film.
I'm lost, Bob.
Yeah,
I would rather go get somebody who's play. I mean, if that's what if that's a bargain, help me understand this, Bob.
Well, I think
give me the top 10. Give me the top 10 quarterbacks in the portal right now.
Well, he is ranked. I think I can go look at the quarterback rankings. I think somewhere.
I don't
site had
care
him at
about
number
9, what you did 2 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, right now, I mean, if you're looking at the top names, it is interesting. I mentioned Sam Levitt with a do not contact tag as well, so we'll see where he might land. But it seems like he's kind of zeroing in on where that might be. Brennan Sorsby, a name that Nebraska fans know well, the Cincinnati quarterback who was one of the top names in the transfer portal. Visits lined up with Texas Tech and LSU. So again, kind of names there. Texas Tech obviously finishing their season this past year, Big 12 champs. LSU, not the way they wanted to go, but one of the powerhouses in college football, and now looking to reload and get going there under Lane Kiffin. But as I kind of break this down too, it's not the name that I necessarily, obviously you're looking at a Sorsby or hoping for a Sorsby or Levitt, and you get the backup quarterback at Notre Dame. That's not the most exciting maybe potential get for Nebraska. If you watch Trinidad Chambliss, this past last night against Ole Miss, that not every story has to be, this is the top guy from somewhere, the 5-star quarterback. We went through the 5-star quarterback thing there with Dylan Raiola. All that to be said, I mean, I think this is a guy that's in line with competing with TJ Lateef. This is a pick that would be, again, not necessarily always going to come in and start. Now he's a mobile quarterback, right? Dual threat quarterback. He can maybe run the offense that they're looking for or looking to adjust to. So he's got that going for him. But to your point, or to kind of what I said, when this thing kind of happened, in my mind, TJ Lateef, and through no fault of his own, just did not do enough to spark me into thinking year 4, pivotal year, need to move the needle, that he is definitely the guy. And so for me, I'm hoping, and we'll see what they do here. Maybe you can get a Minchie and a veteran quarterback to come in and maybe lead this team moving forward. But it could be that they feel like they've seen enough from Lateef that they like where he's headed, and they just want to bring in some legitimate competition, not somebody that's going to breathe over him, not somebody that's going to start over him, and then everybody's going to be clamoring for the backup, but just a legitimate competition kind of at the same level, or a guy that they feel just hasn't had the chance to prove it. So that's the best I can kind of do for you as far as the quarterback situation. I've said it from the beginning, and so I won't change my mind now that they've decided to go a different direction, or at least as of yet have not been able to land a starter next year. I think for where this program is, they probably need to go out and get a veteran. Now, was it going to be easy to go get Sorsby and Levitt? I don't think so. So you might not get those top names, but I'd like to see them. And there's, again, more room for scholarships in the quarterback room. Go and get a veteran that you expect to start over these guys. But that might be a little bit too much to ask. We'll see.
I'm sitting here wondering, why would we go get a guy who's on the same level, I think, as TJ Lateef, who needs probably another year. Michi's probably going to need another year, and with the schedule you're having next year, you're throwing yourself up under the bus. Man, we got to go get a legitimate starter. We have to. I mean, I'm not trying to dog TJ Lateef, but he just is not ready, Bock. He has to do 180 turnaround, 360 turnaround, whatever they say, Bock.
Yeah.
If he's going to be the starter next year. I'm not saying this is impossible, but it's damn near impossible.
Well, it's interesting, too, because, again, you go into these rankings, and it would look like Nebraska's doing pretty well. So the 24/7 Sports top 10 rankings, Sam Levitt is number 1. Brennan Sorsby is number 2. This is for quarterbacks in the portal right now. Drew Mestemaker from the North Texas transfer to Oklahoma State is all but expected there, so likely off the board. DJ Lagway at 4. Dylan Raiola at 5. Deuce Knight from Auburn at 6. Byron Brown, who might go from South Florida over there to Auburn. Looking at Rocco Becht at 8th, who's probably going to follow his coach from Iowa State to Penn State. Josh Hoover, a name that people expect might finish up at Indiana, is the expectation from TCU. And then at number 10, you've got Kenny Minchie listed ahead of veteran quarterbacks like Aiden Childs and Bo Pribula. So it just kind of depends on what you're looking for. Nebraska might be able to go out there and get a veteran quarterback that's played a little bit, like an Anthony Colandrea from UNLV, and he would be ranked below where they have Minchie at. So it's just, you'd like to be able to pick from the litter, right? Have a whole lot of different great options. Aaron Nolan's another name that hit the portal that you were high on at one point. So
how can you rank a guy though, Bock? How can you put him the 9th best and he haven't even played in 2 years?
It's tough to tell. That's what I often, I stick up for the recruiting sites a lot, especially for like high school kids. If only because of how difficult the job is, because coaching staffs hit about 50% of hit rate about 50% of the time, right? Even if you're in the industry doing it for the betterment of your own job, it is a difficult thing to do. But as far as transfer portal rankings, I get lost on that a lot because you're right. I mean, I just don't know where you can come up with, okay, as opposed to guys that we've seen and have proven what they've done, or you've got, not a short sample size of what they've got to look at. I don't know how you put backups ahead of them, but again, it might be part of the idea that Kenny Minchie was this close to CJ Carr, and CJ Carr was a solid quarterback at Notre Dame this past year. So I guess that's where they come up with that.
All right, Bock. Anything else?
Not necessarily on that front. So again, we'll see if they get moving on any more quarterbacks, but that seems to be kind of the news of the day there. Iowa State's offensive lineman Brennan Black also to visit Nebraska. Looks like here in the next couple of days, January 2nd and 3rd, Hayes Fawcett of On3 reported. He's a guy that's moved up, 3-star prospect out of high school, now a 4-star prospect in the portal, started several games for the Cyclones. Of course, Iowa State is kind of, they don't have too much on their roster anymore. So that's interesting. Maybe among the most interesting, there's a few other names there. San Diego State's edge, Trey White, enters the transfer portal, 2-time All-Mountain West edge rusher, 19.5 sacks the past 2 seasons. Of course, Nebraska has hired not just the San Diego State defensive coordinator, but also the edge coach to their staff. So that one would be something to follow closely, as well as San Diego State's leading tackler this last year, Owen Chambliss, 110 tackles and 9.5 tackles for loss for the Aztecs this past year, as well as 4 sacks. He will visit Lincoln this weekend as well. So those are names that I've seen early on in the movement for the transfer portal for Nebraska, names to look out for. Other things that caught my attention last night as the transfer portal moved over, and as the day kind of opened up, I was surprised to see Coy Parrish, Minnesota's All-American safety, freshman All-American from a few years ago. Good return guy, a guy they throw on the opposite side of his ball as well because of the athlete that he is. In the portal, and he hasn't ruled out returning to Minnesota, but that could be a big loss for PJ Fleck and a big gain for anybody out there that's going to, looking for a safety. If you remember, Oregon has Dylan Thieneman starting at safety this year, stud safety for them, and they took him from Purdue, right? So we've kind of already seen that movement work in the a competing team's favor before. I have no clue maybe where Parrish would go, but he's at least entertaining that idea. And also, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, Rocco Beck planning to visit Penn State. So it looks like he will at least give the shot and the idea of following his coach, Matt Campbell, out from Iowa State to Penn State. And he's one of the top names in the portal.
Yeah. All right, Bock, we'll talk more football. No, we're going to go Husker basketball when we come back. We're going to talk about the Michigan State Nebraska game here in a couple hours here in Lincoln, Nebraska. 93.7 the ticket. We'll be right back.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL Weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, a chance of wintry mix with patchy fog, otherwise cloudy skies, high near 33. Tonight, a chance of snow, otherwise cloudy skies, a low around 24. And tomorrow, we'll see mostly sunny skies and light winds, an afternoon high near 44. I'm meteorologist Kyle Flecker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Winter is just around the corner. Is your vehicle ready? Don't get left out in the cold. At A1 Automotive, we prep your car for whatever winter throws your way here in Nebraska. For battery checks, brake inspections, tires, heaters, whatever your car needs to keep you and your family safe on the road, we've got you covered. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now in our new time. We're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Planet Fitness has everything you need to start strong, so you can give everything you've got. From plate-loaded strength equipment and functional training areas to treadmills, stair climbers, and free weights. Our equipment is best in class, and our clubs are right around the corner, so you can make this your strongest year yet. Join the club today and save $28 or more when you join for $1 down, $15 a month. Cancel anytime. Deal ends Friday, January 9th. Are you coming? Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet. See club for details.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197. Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road, just south of 14th and Highway 2. We're kicking off 2026 with a party on Friday, January 2nd, featuring Mike Smith and the Bowie Boys, who are turning 93.7 The Ticket into a skate park. You heard that right. Make plans to stop by The Ticket between 5 and 8 p.m. on Friday, January 2nd for a live broadcast of Culture and Coffee from 5 to 7 p.m. and a vintage market plus skate experience hosted by the Bowie Boys from 7 to 8 p.m. This is a party you do not want to miss. Stop by The Ticket prior to the Nebraska basketball game on Friday, January 2nd from 5 to 8 p.m. There are so many realtors in Lincoln and Omaha, but don't get overwhelmed by all the no-names. Plus all the different companies. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Real Estate is your go-to option, whether buying or selling residential, luxury, leasing, investment properties, or commercial property, small or large. Ben's team offers decades of experience, unbeatable customer service, and promises to fully protect your interests throughout the entire transaction. Call 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group of BHHS Ambassador Real Estate.
If you or anyone you care about is facing a family legal matter, call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL or visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on. Visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
If you or anyone you care about is facing divorce, contact Cordell and Cordell today. With over 100,000 clients served, we understand the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. 1221 N Street, Lincoln.
We're kicking off 2026 with a party on Friday, January 2nd, featuring Mike Smith and the Bowie Boys, who are turning 93.7 the ticket into a skate park. You heard that right. Make plans to stop by the ticket between 5 and 8 p.m. on Friday, January 2nd for a live broadcast of culture and coffee from 5 to 7 p.m. at a vintage market plus skate experience hosted by the Bowie Boys from 7 to 8 p.m. This is a party you do not want to miss. Stop by the ticket prior to the Nebraska basketball game on Friday, January 2nd from 5 to 8 p.m.
You're listening to Bock in the Blackshirt, on air and online at theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to Bock in the Blackshirt here on 93.7 The Ticket. We are on Monday through Friday from 1 to 3. We are powered
by
Bauer.
Infrastructure.
Bauer.
Underground.
Barat.
Excavating.
Shout out to the Bauer crew working hard throughout Lincoln and Omaha areas. On the phone, we got GBR Captain. What's up?
Hey, man. Thanks for giving me spare time, man. Good to talk to you guys.
How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing great. Happy New Year to you. I'm blessed.
What's on your mind?
We all are.
What's on your mind?
You guys are, you know what I say online and stuff. I ain't gonna bring all that to the table, but I just wanted to give an analogy of what we got going, in my opinion, because a 7-win season with Matt Rule is a good season for him. It's really nothing new, normal, and so he took this team from what people say is like a dumpster fire. And in my opinion, he's got this team like a Ford Excursion now. And our next year's schedule is like a Baja 500. And this Ford Excursion, it's got the alignment off. It's got a couple boarded up windows, some dents, broken windshield, not a lot of running parts that are, working that well, and probably burning oil. It's like I don't think with next year's Baja 500 schedule, I don't think it's worth putting a lot of money into it. I think we need to save some of our NIL for 2027 and kind of hope we get through this Baja 500, survive it, and then put a lot of money towards another vehicle in 2027. I know people, I hate that defeatist attitude or something, but it's business now. It's not really a defeatist attitude. No one sees us. Like, why would we put a whole bunch of money into 1 or 2 players just to get, 5 wins, maybe 6 at the most? It's going to be tough to get 7. I don't see us getting 7. But that's what I wanted just to say, y'all. You have a great, happy New Year, and we'll talk to each other again.
All right.
Appreciate the phone call.
Well, Bock, with NIL, I don't know if you let the money overlap. Well, you say save the $20 million, but we have to go out there and spend it somehow. But I wish we just spent it the right way when we talk about getting the right caliber of players that we need to make the university back to where we was. And I don't want us to try to, I know it's not a quick fix. It's a slowly process, but if you put it together in a year or so, you could be a Indiana, you could be a team that's Miami, who, he started working on his lines more than he worked on anything else. His first Miami coach first job was to make it a better offensive line and defensive line. That's where he started from, and then he added the pieces to the puzzle. I don't know where we start our puzzle off at right now, because this puzzle got pieces everywhere.
Well, and that's why I say it too. And I think that call kind of reminds me of the question too, is, are you working for a 1-year build, or you're working for a 3-year build, or a 5-year build, right? And so, you ideally are working through all of those through the same goal, right? Through the same direction. And so I think that's part of the frustration for me too, is like, what is the identity of Matt Rule football here at Nebraska? Well, it keeps changing based on kind of what you have. And there's something to be said with, playing to your current team strengths and all that. But by year 3, you should have it headed toward your direction, right? Toward the direction that you wanted it to go. So, that's why I say they need to get an identity and stick to it, and then find players, recruit players to that identity, rather than just recruit players, get the best you can get, put them all in a pile, and then say, okay, well, here's what this group can get. And then next year we'll see what the next group can do a little bit better. No, it's coaching again. A philosophy is not, is going to be different than game-to-game play calls. So, or play-to-play calls. I mean, there's just so much that goes into it. It's not an all-encompassing statement. But in my mind, you need to point the direction. That's why I keep saying going back to the blueprint. Play Midwestern football, play Smash Mouth football, because that can be your goal for next year and your goal for 5 years from now. And then you can kind of, have these different pieces that fit in from year to year that might enhance that. But if next year's goal is to be this sort of team, and then 3 years from now, the goal is to be this other sort of team, well, then you're not working in the same direction. And that's what I think, part of the Dylan Riley experiment, unfortunately, has failed Nebraska. Not in that it didn't get Nebraska to back-to-back bowl season, right? There's positives from it. But Nebraska, it seemed like, in my mind, Matt Rule was headed toward the Smash Mouth Midwestern football identity in year 1. Now, obviously, the offense had a lot of struggles, but they were second in the Big Ten in rushing, I believe, that year. And so it's like, okay, well, that's what I want to see. Then you bring in Dylan, and, he's a pocket quarterback, so that's going to be a little bit harder. Now we're going to have to, be flinging the ball around to speed receivers and this and that. Okay, well, that's not where, okay. Now bring in Daniel Holgerson. Daniel Holgerson's a great offensive mind for that. And then, by the end of year 3, or in the middle of year 3, that's not working. And so, all right, let's put it all on Emmett Johnson. Give Emmett Johnson 35 touches a game. And it works to a degree, right? It helps Emmett Johnson become an All-American. And, but I mean, he can do it kind of both ways, out of the backfield, catching the ball or running it. So it's not completely, a smash mouth type of style and all that. But so I guess, I don't know if you see my point, but there's no uniform direction in which Nebraska's offense has been going. And so, that's 3 years out. So the next 3 years, instead of doing that and just kind of getting, well, whatever quarterback we get and whatever we happen to be able to bring in with the NIL, to a degree, always coach to your players' strengths, but to another degree, have an idea of what you want this offense to look like in 2027, in 2028, and in 2026, and move toward that and recruit toward that.
You're right, Bock. I'm trying to look up something. It's not showing me. All right, Bock, let's go to basketball. Enough of football for the day.
Take a little break.
Yeah, no. We have a big basketball game tonight. We can't stop forgetting about the other successful programs in this university, such as women's volleyball, softball, women's basketball, men's basketball, wrestling, bowling. We have so many other programs to worry about that we can't throw all our eggs in one basket. And plus, the season's over with. We'll have much Husker talk later on in the week, and much transfer portal talk coming up, Bock. But we got a big game tonight.
Yeah, that's a good point. There's plenty of time still to talk about Nebraska football and the big picture discussion about where that can go. Nebraska basketball, plenty of time to talk about them, as well as they're just kind of opening up the Big Ten season. Of course, not officially. They're already 2-0 in the Big Ten season, but once it gets to January, you start kind of that second leg of it with Michigan State tonight. And what a big game this is. If you remember last year, Michigan State absolutely pummeled Nebraska 89-52. And this, around this time this year, Nebraska is favored in a top 15 matchup with Sparty. It's the first ever top 15 matchup that we will see at Pinnacle Bank Arena. So it's very excited there. Coach Hoiberg had a few things to say. We can definitely get into that. Coach Izzo also with a few things to say. He said, including, we've probably played more talented teams, but we've never played a team like this on their home court. That's why it's going to be fun to see how my guys respond. Also noted that it's going to be a big atmosphere at Nebraska, partially because there's one thing about Nebraska. There's not a lot else in that state to do. So, he's got to throw that as well. Izzo's a good guy. Just, that quote, I'm sure, will not make every Nebraska fan happy. But he comes from East Lansing, where there's so many different choices of things to do, right? So I'm just kidding. I'm throwing my shot back. But in any case, it is a big game. Let's hear from Coach Hoiberg on embracing this moment, as a team.
Well, I think they've embraced every time that we've gone out on the floor. Now, we've gotten out to some slow starts. Obviously, some of that is the ball hasn't gone in the basket. We still have defended, even though the ball hasn't gone in. We weren't as good the other night against New Hampshire, but a lot of that, give them credit for making shots. Starts in this league are going to be very important. We're going to have to get off to better starts. And part of that is trusting your shot, finishing your shot. We've got great shooters on this team. We got to start making some of those to get off to better starts. But that being said, our guys have really adjusted. When we've gone into halftime and done certain things and tweaked things, they've gone out and executed very well. So whatever happens, we got to keep after it. If you put your head down, if you feel sorry for yourself, if you lose that edge and urgency for 2 minutes in this league, teams smell blood in the water and you're dead. So we just got to fight whatever the circumstances are and continue to go out there and battle.
So they heard the first clip there from Coach Hoiberg about this Michigan State game coming together to take on Michigan State. Now, there will be questions too, and I'm interested to see if we do see Ugi Urzavicius this evening. He got his debut the other night. Is he going to be healthy enough to get an opportunity against Michigan State? Here's what Coach Hoiberg had to say.
Yeah, potentially. We'll see how it's going out there, but we may have smaller lineups out there with Braden. We played him a lot at the 4. Obviously, early in the season, getting Ugi back is important. He did not practice yesterday. He was back on the floor today. That was by design. But we're going to hopefully continue to up his minutes as we go. A lot of that will depend on how he's feeling physically. So, but yeah, it was great to have him back out there, and it was an important stretch for Ugi to knock down that shot. I thought I had a couple really good takes to the basket, got the and one, and just to shake the rust off and get his timing. He threw one right off of Leo's ankle on one play, and it was a little bit sped up on another one, and that's going to take some time to get past that. And he's played this game for a long time. We trust him, but we can't expect him to go out there and play at top form when he had his first experience on the floor with limited practice time. So, we're going to continue to try to get him ready as much as his back will allow, and hopefully have him the rest of the year.
And of course, Terrell, obviously a bit of a different sport, but sometimes it's kind of funny when in the football game where, for instance, when Utah just destroyed Nebraska, and I have to, I want to be able to ask you, well, what would happen when you guys got down and were able to? But, you had a pretty good record at Nebraska, so that didn't happen. This I can kind of maybe translate to you because you did play in big games. Obviously, this is a big game, as big of a game as they played at Pinnacle Bank Arena, or close to it. I'll still put No Sit Sunday up there at the top. Yet, regardless, that was, more than 10 years ago. So this is a different team, different people in the building. Huge game here for Pinnacle Bank Arena. How do you think the players are feeling? How does it compare when you play in a big game of this magnitude versus playing in the other games of the season? You still want to be able to get up for those opponents, but I mean, there's got to be something different about those players as they're going through the motions right now, as opposed to lining up against North Dakota.
Yeah, I mean, I think this game is very important. I think they know what caliber of a team they are and who they're playing, especially when it comes to Tom Izzo, because that Michigan State's going to be ready. So, I think being in this first-time situation, they have to be calm about it. Just play your game. Do the things that help you get to this point that you still need to take those same chances. Fred has got these guys playing great. Like you say, you get Uzi back and a couple of more guys that, was kind of banged up. But, the main thing is just to play your game and go out there and play it like you played it against Illinois. Go take it from them instead of give it to them. And I think we're in a great spot, especially to play this game in Nebraska this time of year, especially on a Friday night, where you can come by the ticket and watch some skateboarders or get you some coffee before you walk over to Pinnacle Bank. But it's going to be a great atmosphere, Bock. There's nothing better on the Friday night than an undefeated Nebraska team going against a top 10 matchup against Michigan State.
Yeah, that's what I said. Any day with Husker basketball is better.
No matter what sport it is, Bock.
Yeah.
Still going to be a great day when Nebraska's ranked good like that.
Hoiberg was also asked about Michigan State being a model for other programs to follow.
Listen, he's getting top players, and he just, he brings the right players in to fit his system and to fit his style. And he's got the perfect personnel for the way he wants to play. Fears and his speed getting up the floor. We showed clips. If we're even with Carr, if we line up on the baseline and tell anybody in our roster to try to keep up with Carr, we might make it to half court as he gets to the rim. So, we have to, again, the urgency, not chasing down balls that we have no chance of getting, and then making sure we keep those guys in front. So is it a blueprint? I think, you can try it, but he's got the perfect personnel. I think we've got the personnel that fits our system pretty good right now. So, listen, you just try to do the best you can to improve your roster and put them in a good position. And, I feel good about the direction of our group, and it's tomorrow night's a big one.
Yeah, definitely a big one. As Coach Hoiberg, as you can tell, there was speaking yesterday on this game, and a little bit of a clash of styles, a little bit interesting in that too. Michigan State, one of the better rebounding teams in the country. Obviously, that's not something Nebraska has prioritized quite as much, but they've got their own priorities that they bring to it, as Coach Rule was kind of saying. And a lot of that is being able, everybody on the floor being able to shoot. Nebraska struggled with that, especially the first halves each of the last couple of games. So hopefully it's one of those nights where everything is falling for the Huskers.
All right, Bock. They can wear Nebraska the black shirt jerseys tonight, Bock.
Yeah, there you go. They get the win.
Yeah. 93.7 the ticket, Bock in the black shirt. Be right back.
If you or anyone you care about is facing a family legal matter, call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL or visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on. Visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
If you or anyone you care about is facing divorce, contact Cordell and Cordell today. With over 100,000 clients served, we understand the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. 1221 N Street, Lincoln.
We're kicking off 2026 with a party on Friday, January 2nd, featuring Mike Smith and the Bowie Boys, who are turning 93.7 the ticket into a skate park. You heard that right. Make plans to stop by the ticket between 5 and 8 p.m. on Friday, January 2nd for a live broadcast of Culture and Coffee from 5 to 7 p.m. and a vintage market plus skate experience hosted by the Bowie Boys from 7 to 8 p.m. This is a party you do not want to miss. Stop by the ticket prior to the Nebraska basketball game on Friday, January 2nd from 5 to 8 p.m. There are so many realtors in Lincoln and Omaha, but don't get overwhelmed by all the no-names, plus all the different companies. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Real Estate is your go-to option, whether buying or selling residential, luxury, leasing, investment properties, or commercial property, small or large. Ben's team offers decades of experience, unbeatable customer service, and promises to fully protect your interests throughout the entire transaction. Call 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group of BHHS Ambassador Real Estate.
For remote starters, audio upgrades, and more, there's only one place to go. Auto Sounds of Lincoln at 48th and O.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now in our new time. We're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs, from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket immediately after every Nebraska men's basketball game for 1 hour of post-game recap. The Nebraska Basketball Postgame Show is sponsored by Union Bank and Trust, John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electrical, and the Lincoln Airport on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Golfing in 72 degrees and perfect conditions in Nebraska doesn't seem possible in December, but it is. Double Eagle Golf is your escape from the bone-chilling cold outside and a reason to keep the clubs out year-round. Book your holiday parties at Double Eagle Golf and make plans to join them for a New Year's Eve party. Gift cards make a great stocking stuffer for Christmas, and don't forget to look ahead to 2026 as spring leagues begin in February. That's all at Double Eagle Golf inside the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street. Online at doubleeagle.golf.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL Weather, sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
You're looking for a cast for today. A chance of wintry mix with patchy fog. Otherwise cloudy skies, high near 33. Tonight, a chance of snow. Otherwise cloudy skies, a low around 24. And tomorrow, we'll see mostly sunny skies and light winds. An afternoon high near 44. I'm meteorologist Kyle Flecker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
You're listening to Bock and the Blackshirt, on air and online at theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to Bock and the Black Shirt here on 93.7 The Ticket. We will try to keep you updated with all the transporter moves, football moves, basketball moves, wrestling moves, every move we can possibly try to get, Bock.
Absolutely. And so I do, before the show ends, we didn't spend too much time on it, but I do want to just remind people of kind of the movement going on today. Jason Masashek and Jalen George, both kind of the names that hit the portal for Nebraska as the expected names that we already had as well, with the Dylan Riles and so on and so forth from there. So those are the names that have hit the portal. Nebraska, of course, not landing anybody out of the portal yet, but they are heavily linked and crystal balled by Pete Nakos, among others, to land Notre Dame quarterback Kenny Minchie, who was the backup quarterback this past season for Notre Dame. They've also got visits lined up with Brennan Black of offensive lineman over there from Iowa State, as well as San Diego State linebacker Owen Chambliss. So that's kind of the news of the day, if you will, for Nebraska and the portal movement so far. Terrell, I did want to ask you, as we kind of wrap up the show, we know a lot of Nebraska talk, we talked some basketball, but I wanted to circle back to the college football playoffs and what we even just saw for the bowl games in general. The SEC seems to have lost its battle. I don't know if you want to argue that or not, but the Ole Miss obviously advancing to the Final Four here in college football. But other than that, it's been a tough bowl season and even college football playoffs for the SEC, especially when you watch Alabama get their tail kicked in by Indiana. I've been hesitant to kind of say it because the SEC had such a stranglehold of college football for the longest time. Now we've seen the Big Ten win each of the last two championships. Now the Big Ten has two of the final four competitors as well. Can only get one in the playoff, obviously, but I don't think it's any longer. Well, it looks like the Big Ten has pretty well surpassed the SEC. Would you agree?
Yeah, I would agree, but just overall in general, Bock, I think it's great for college football to have these new teams here. You talk about three teams that's playing who haven't won an outright national championship ever. So you look at a Miami who hasn't probably been since 2001.
Yeah.
So we're looking at a new champion this year. Either it's from the Big Ten, the ACC, or the SEC. But at the same time, it's exciting football, Bock. I mean, you couldn't ask for anything better. I mean, you look at the Indiana game, man. Kurt Signetti is all business when you talk about what they did to Alabama. You look at Oregon, what they did to Texas Tech, shut them out. So then you look at Ole Miss, who played a damn great game against my Georgia Bulldogs, and then you look at Miami, who went up there and single-handedly smacked Ohio State. So you're looking at good football. Coaches this time of year, their players hitting on all syllables. I mean, and when we talk about that part, we're going to have a lot of feedback because of the bye teams that have to wait 2 weeks to play, and now they're 1-7 all time.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to make a big deal about that, especially Ryan Day, because he's going to cry about that. Well, I'd rather keep playing than rather sit out 2 weeks. But it's been a great college football year. Not even just for Nebraska. I mean, just football in general. When you talk about all the exciting things going on, Kurt Signetti, Mendoza winning the Heisman, Emmett Johnson, being a top running back, sitting out the bowl games to prepare for the NFL. You're gonna have the stories like Dylan Riolas, who's gonna transfer. You're gonna have coaches get fired, coaches get hired. This is just the beginning of what we've known as the new college football era, and we're going to have to get used to it, whether we like it or not.
Yeah, and it's interesting, too, as you kind of, again, limited data, but we have what we have to work with here. You mentioned the bye week teams, 1-7 so far. Also kind of interesting in that Miami game and some of these games, I mean, obviously more so even the Oregon blowout in Indiana blowouts, maybe weren't the most entertaining games as far as that Ole Miss Georgia game, comparing it to that. But Miami getting that win, I mean, that was such a big statement. And they're the first double-digit seed to make it this far in the playoffs. So you kind of got that madness, if you will, if you're kind of looking to compare it to March Madness. You've also got the 5 and 6 seeds of each year making it this far. So that's kind of an interesting side note in each of the first couple of seasons of the college football playoff as well. But, this year I just think a better example maybe than last year. And I think part of it was the seeding, which they fixed. There might be some more things that they're going to move around with. And do you really need James Madison and Tulane in the playoffs? I mean, that's going to be argued. But I just feel like this season is a little bit more of an exciting playoff thus far in my mind. And part of that is, just kind of these big statements that can be made about conferences and teams. Indiana beating Alabama 38-3. That's one of the biggest losses in for those fans in Tuscaloosa in several decades as far as the point spread goes. And then even the talking point of Texas Tech, for as much as we talked about them in the Big 12 in general, the Big 12 did not score a point in the college football playoffs this year. That's rough for a team that a conference anyways, that claims to be among the Power Four.
All right. We thank you for listening to Bock and the Black Shirt here on 93.7 The Ticket. The year 2026, we're going to bring some good excitement to you. Up next, Austin and Jay Foreman, old school, coming up here in a few minutes. 93.7 Ticket, we out.
Planet Fitness has everything you need to start strong, so you can give everything you've got. From plate-loaded strength equipment and functional training areas to treadmills, stair climbers, and free weights. Our equipment is best in class, and our clubs are right around the corner, so you can make this your strongest year yet. Join the club today and save $28 or more when you join for $1 down, $15